Well, good afternoon. My name is Adam Powell. It is January 30th, 2020, and in this discussion, I'm going to talk about ethics in the workplace and the importance of having a strong moral and ethical code in the workplace. It's imperative for business operations, and many times I feel that this is overlooked for profits in some places, and you really should take a step back and concentrate on, the decisions you make. Are they ethical? Are they right? Are they wrong? How's it going to benefit you? How's it going to affect other people around you? You really got to look at consequentialism for your group and for the places that you do business with. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. Okay, ethics in the workplace. Having a professional code of ethics is really the bond that ties you and your coworkers together, knowing that one person is going to make a correct and ethical decision for the common good of not only your company but your customers as well. We're going to talk about an issue that we had with executive level sales individual within a company that I was employed. Um, Went way outside of what really is ethical business practices. He was involved in kickbacks and quid pro quo, not only involving him, but the salespeople underneath of him as well. Make a long story short, um, he would buy high dollar value items on one of his employees' credit cards. Then he, in fact, would take the receipts. He would approve the expenses and get that card reimbursed, sometimes without even the knowledge of the person that it was affecting, and then give those items to customers as kickbacks. So we're going to be discussing, kickbacks in industrial sales role. Um, Point blank, accepting or offering kickbacks or quid pro quo is strictly against a professional code of ethics. Um, you really have to consider everybody involved. It's not just getting that one sale that's important. It's establishing that yourself and that your company operates in an ethical manner and they're responsible. And there's got to be trust between customer and supplier. If you don't have that trust, you really are not going to have any future success. You may get a one-time sale, but there will not be any follow-ups. Not only that, there's legal ramifications as well involved in that also. The advantages and disadvantages of a code of ethics. Like I spoke about before, it creates trust within the company of your fellow colleagues and with your customers, and it just makes good business sense. Um, you really have to establish yourself as a trustworthy supplier. Many times, my clients that come to me now, they don't price me. They ask me, what I recommend and what they need. I give them a price and they buy it, and I can do that because they trust my opinion. They trust what I have to say, and they know I'm not going to take advantage of them or do something unethical. Um, and also, you got to have accurate balance sheets. When you're involved with kickbacks, a lot of those numbers are hidden. And if you're involved in a publicly traded company, those books are public knowledge. Anybody can have access to those books. It's also law as well, not just ethical code, it's the law. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act has a lot to do with modern business finance, and you must follow those as well and be ethical. You can't just look at, how it just affects me. Do I get the bonus on this one sale? No, you got to look at how it affects not only you and your business, but the community as a whole. Disadvantages of a professional code of ethics. Well, personally, I don't really see any disadvantages to having a strong code of ethics. The case that I had to deal with before, this gentleman actually tried to rationalize his poor ethical decisions. He made excuses, and he was only looking at what benefited him and not how it affected really everybody in the community as a whole. Like I said, by sticking to this may cost you a one-time sale, but that's not really a customer that you want. You don't want, personally, I don't want a customer that's going to expect special favors or kickbacks for giving us their business. I want business because we're good at what we do, not what I can offer them back in return for their business. So really, there's really no downside to professional code of ethics. It should guide your decisions every day. It shouldn't be something that you have to look up. It should be something that just comes from you for wanting to really, just be a good person. I know what's right and wrong. There's a difference between good and bad versus right and wrong. And, sometimes you have to make decisions that are difficult, but, you have to make the decisions that are right for you. And the importance of workplace ethics, like I said earlier in this discussion, it's all based around trust. Having that clear code of ethics is important. It should be a roadmap, but it shouldn't guide every decision you make. You should be making good decisions just because you know it's the right thing to do. I know when I'm making a poor decision or doing something wrong. Everybody does. Your own morals guide you on that. But the clear business code of ethics really lays out, the do's and don'ts of business operations. Same thing goes on with business accounting and hiding numbers in a balance sheet. Really, I feel that's also extremely, extremely unethical. Those reported numbers, sometimes go out to all the investors of the corporation, and you can't fix a problem unless you know what it is. So when you're hiding numbers and making poor ethical decisions, you're really clouding over what the whole business is built on and what it's doing. So having a clear business code of ethics is absolutely invaluable. And how do we enforce this code of ethics? How we enforced it last time is actually we terminated the individual, handed all the evidence over to HR, and it was also handed over to the local county prosecutor for prosecution. The amount that was taken was in the range of $1.4 million. So it had a wide-ranging effect on the business and its performance. But my personal opinions on professional ethics is just something that, you know what you're doing is right. You can go home at the end of the day and feel confident and comfortable about the work that you did. You feel good about the work that you did. The quotes that you offered customers are fair. They weren't overpriced. There's fair margins for us to make our profit. It was showed value for the customer, and they'll remember that. You may get it, do somebody wrong or be unethical in how you price an item once, that you only do it once. They will remember that. And that's how business is built. Business is built on relationships. And when you stay within that code of ethics, you can grow those relationships. You stretch outside of that, even at the one time that, you may think it might benefit the customer with a small kickback, say a guided fishing trip, whatever the item may be. They may appreciate that once, but they will remember that later on down the road. They may appreciate the single item they got, but they may not be in that position forever. They may go up in the company and they may remember, hey, this guy was giving me kickbacks. Now that I'm responsible for the funds, do I want to do business with this person? So, and the answer is no, not if he's responsible for them in the end. So my personal opinions are it's invaluable in business today, and we cannot really operate efficiently and effectively without having a very solid, code of ethics in business. Well, I appreciate your time in viewing this today. These videos are a little bit more difficult than just writing a paper. Writing a paper, you can reread it. You can go through and make edits. When your video recording is just, it is what it is. You can't really go back and cut and paste. No spell correct on a video. Well, thank you for your time, and have a wonderful weekend.